You can spot a good motorcycle in a brochure, but mechanics learn the truth the hard way after thousands of repairs. What they recommend to customers is not always what they spend their own money on. In this video, we go inside that private list. 15 motorcycles mechanics actually choose for themselves. Machines built to survive years of real-world abuse, cheap to maintain, and proven where failure shows up first. Stay with us, because some of the most trusted bikes on this list might surprise you. Number 15. Yamaha FZ600. Ask a motorcycle mechanic what they ride after spending all day repairing other people's bikes, and you probably will not hear the name of an exotics superbike. More often, they will point you toward a machine that has earned its reputation the hard way, by lasting. One motorcycle that quietly checks every box is the Yamaha FZ600. What makes it special is not flashy styling or eye-popping horsepower. It is the engine hiding beneath the tank. Yamaha borrowed the legendary dual overhead cam inline 4 architecture from the YZF-R600, then retuned it for everyday riding. The result is an engine that works well within its limits, delivering smooth power while avoiding the constant stress that shortens the life of high-strung sport bikes. The area worth highlighting is the valve train and cam chain assembly, the foundation of this motorcycle's long-term durability. Give it regular oil changes, fresh coolant, and timely valve inspections, and it is not unusual to see these engines rack up astonishing mileage without major internal repairs. Clean examples typically sell for between $2,500 and $5,000, making them one of the smartest bargains on the used market. Before handing over your money, inspect the throttle position sensor, check the radiator for corrosion, make sure the front brake sliders move freely on earlier models, and verify the valve clearance service has been performed. If that kind of inside knowledge is what you are after, hit the like button or drop some hype and subscribe, because this is exactly where real-world motorcycle truth starts. And the next motorcycle earns their respect for an entirely different reason, and it may surprise you even more. Number 14. Kawasaki Ninja 650. Walk into enough motorcycle repair shops and you begin noticing a pattern. The bikes mechanics spend their own money on usually are not the ones chasing outrageous horsepower or loaded with unnecessary electronics. More often, they buy motorcycles built around something far more important: longevity. That is exactly why the Kawasaki Ninja 650 keeps quietly earning respect behind the service counter. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary middleweight sport bike. But underneath, Kawasaki built something mechanics deeply appreciate: a 649 cubic centimeter parallel twin designed to work hard without constantly stressing itself to the limit. Less strain internally usually means one thing: far fewer expensive surprises later. Its balancer shaft and cam chain system help keep the engine smooth, compact, and incredibly durable over serious mileage. Better yet, clean used examples often sell between roughly $3,500 and $7,000, making ownership refreshingly affordable. The Ninja 650 stands out for its balance, simplicity, and dependable everyday performance. But mechanics know that riders chasing maximum longevity often prefer an engine that works even less hard and demands even less maintenance. That leads to a platform built for endurance first. And that philosophy is where Honda steps in. Number 13. Honda CB500X and NX500. Walk into a busy motorcycle shop and ask which modern adventure bike almost never causes trouble. And do not be surprised if several mechanics give the same answer. The Honda CB500X, now continued as the NX500, has earned its reputation by making repairs wonderfully uneventful. Its secret is not hidden in expensive electronics or breathtaking horsepower. It is hidden in smart engineering. Honda built the liquid-cooled dual overhead cam parallel twin with generous durability margins, allowing it to deliver smooth, predictable power without constantly pushing its internal components to the edge. That is exactly the kind of design experienced mechanics look for when spending their own money. The feature worth highlighting is the forged crankshaft working alongside the gear-driven counterbalancer. This rugged combination keeps vibration low, reduces long-term wear, and helps the engine stay remarkably refined even after years of commuting, touring, and weekend adventures. With little more than routine oil changes, coolant service, and scheduled valve inspections, these motorcycles have developed an outstanding reputation for covering incredible mileage without major engine work. On today's used market, clean examples usually sell for between $3,800 and $6,800. Before buying, inspect the regulator and rectifier connector for corrosion, check the steering head bearings, test the clutch and side stand safety switches, and examine the exhaust for rust if the bike has lived through wet winters. Now we are curious, have you ever owned a motorcycle that kept exceeding your expectations simply because it was built to do less, not more? Or maybe you have owned one that promised excitement but spent more time in the garage than on the road. Leave a comment and share your experience, because those real ownership stories are exactly what mechanics use to separate genuine reliability from clever marketing. And if Honda's formula of simple, overbuilt engineering sounds impressive, the next motorcycle has become legendary for surviving mileages that many riders never thought possible. Number 12. Suzuki SV650. Some motorcycles earn attention because they are fast. Others earn something far more valuable, respect that lasts for decades. And few machines have quietly built that kind of reputation like the Suzuki SV650. Ask experienced mechanics about motorcycles they would personally trust with their own money, and this name appears again and again. Not because it is flashy, not because it dominates spec sheets, but because Suzuki built this machine around brutally honest engineering that simply refuses to quit. At the heart of it sits a 645 cubic centimeter 90-degree V-twin, one of the most respected engine designs in modern motorcycling. Its natural balance dramatically reduces vibration, which means less long-term stress on bearings, seals, fasteners, and internal components after years of hard riding. Even better, solid used examples regularly sell between roughly $2,800 and $7,000, making reliability surprisingly affordable. Older bikes can occasionally develop stator issues or leaking fork seals. The SV650 is a workshop favorite thanks to its simple design and proven durability. But once riders begin covering serious miles, priorities shift from agility to long-distance strength. And that transition leads directly into Yamaha's long-distance engineering philosophy. Number 11. Yamaha Super Tenere 1200. Adventure motorcycles promise the freedom to ride anywhere. Mechanics tend to ask a different question. Which one will still be running after years of hard miles? Time and again, the Yamaha Super Tenere 1200 gives them the answer they're looking for. Instead of chasing headline horsepower, Yamaha focused on building a motorcycle that could handle relentless touring without becoming a regular visitor to the repair shop. Its liquid-cooled dual overhead cam parallel twin, paired with a cross-plane crankshaft, delivers smooth, usable power while remaining comfortably within its mechanical limits. That conservative approach is exactly why these engines develop such an outstanding reputation for longevity. The feature mechanics appreciate most sits at the rear of the motorcycle: the enclosed shaft drive. Final drive eliminates the endless chain adjustments, lubrication, and sprocket replacements that come with many adventure bikes. Just keep fresh gear oil in the system, and it quietly does its job for mile after mile. Clean used examples generally range from $6,500 to $12,500. Before buying, inspect early models for cam chain tensioner updates, clutch basket vibration, proper driveshaft spline lubrication, and verify that electronic suspension components operate correctly on premium versions. It is not the loudest motorcycle in the adventure world, but its reputation keeps growing. And the next machine earns a mechanic's trust by proving that true durability does not have to come with a premium price tag. Number 10. Suzuki V-Strom 650. Reaching the top 10 changes the conversation completely. From here on, these are motorcycles mechanics trust, Not because of reputation alone, but because years inside repair shops keep proving they simply refuse to give up. That brings us to the Suzuki V-Strom 650. At first glance, nothing about this machine screams extraordinary. No wild horsepower figures, no complicated electronics package, no unnecessary gimmicks. But experienced mechanics know this motorcycle hides one of the smartest engineering decisions Suzuki ever made. At its core sits the same 645 cubic centimeter 90-degree V-twin architecture that helped make the SV650 so respected for long-term durability. Smooth torque delivery, naturally balanced engine geometry, and conservative tuning all work together to dramatically reduce wear over massive mileage. Even better, well-kept used examples usually trade somewhere between roughly $3,000 and $8,000, making it one of the smartest ownership bargains in motorcycling. Early bikes can develop stator issues, wheel bearing wear, or aging cush drive dampers. We have already seen machines that survive neglect, long-distance abuse, and daily punishment without falling apart. So I have got to ask, if you had to choose one so far, which would you actually trust with your own money? Drop it in the comments. And if you are enjoying this breakdown, hit like and subscribe. And the next motorcycle is so famously durable that many mechanics consider it one of the smartest purchases ever made on two wheels. Number 9. Kawasaki KLR650. Some motorcycles impress mechanics with advanced engineering. The Kawasaki KLR650 earned their respect by proving that toughness and simplicity can be just as valuable. For decades, this machine has carried riders across deserts, back roads, mountain passes, and continents. Mechanics have watched them return from journeys that would leave many motorcycles battered and broken, yet the KLR often comes back asking for little more than routine maintenance. That is the kind of track record that gets noticed in repair shops. At the center of it all is a liquid-cooled dual overhead cam single-cylinder engine designed with durability as the priority. Kawasaki never chased huge horsepower numbers. Instead, it built an engine that could handle abuse, tolerate neglect better than most, and keep running long after many competitors have developed expensive problems. The component worth highlighting is the famous balancer chain tensioner lever known everywhere as the 𝐑𝐈𝐃𝐑. Early versions could wear prematurely, but upgraded replacements solved the issue years ago. Once addressed, it is rarely a concern again, which is why experienced owners treat it as a simple preventive fix rather than a serious flaw. Used examples typically sell between $2,500 and $6,500. Buyers should confirm the 𝐑𝐈𝐃𝐑 upgrade on older models. Check for excessive oil consumption on certain years, inspect subframe bolts, and look closely at suspension wear from hard off-road use. Mechanics trust the KLR because it can be repaired almost anywhere. But the next motorcycle earned its reputation by making repairs surprisingly unnecessary in the first place. Number 8. Honda ST1300. Some motorcycles are built for weekend fun. Others are engineered with one purpose in mind: surviving years of punishment without ever asking for much in return. That perfectly describes the Honda ST1300. This machine was never designed to chase trends or impress people standing in a showroom. Honda built it for riders who spend serious time on the road, which is exactly why mechanics, police fleets, and long-distance tourers developed enormous respect for it. Because very few motorcycles handle extreme mileage this effortlessly. At its heart sits a massive 1,261 cubic centimeter longitudinal V4, paired with one of the greatest gifts a touring rider can ask for: a shaft drive system that almost completely eliminates constant chain maintenance. Less adjustment, less wear, far fewer headaches over time. Even today, clean used examples usually sell somewhere between roughly $4,500 and $9,500, making this level of engineering surprisingly attainable. Older bikes may develop cooling system wear or connector corrosion. But from a workshop perspective, that complexity and weight also mean more components more system integration, and more maintenance than simpler older motorcycles. Not every rider needs that level of touring engineering for long-term reliability. So the focus shifts back to machines that achieve durability through straightforward mechanical design. And that brings us to classic Japanese inline-4 engineering. Number 7. Yamaha FJ900. Diversion. Instead of building a high-strung sport machine, Yamaha created a motorcycle that excelled at the everyday jobs riders actually asked of it. Its air-cooled dual overhead cam inline 4 delivers smooth, effortless power without constantly working at its limits, allowing the engine to age gracefully even after years of commuting and cross-country touring. The feature worth highlighting is the air-cooled cylinder head and valve train assembly. Without a liquid cooling system to service, the engine remains refreshingly straightforward to maintain. Valve inspections, carburetor synchronization, and routine maintenance are all easier than many riders expect, which is one reason. Experienced technicians have trusted this platform for decades. Clean examples generally sell between $2,500 and $5,500, making them an overlooked bargain for riders who value dependability over fashion. Before buying, inspect the carburetors for problems caused by long storage, examine the intake boots for cracks, check alternator brush wear, look closely for exhaust corrosion, and expect tired rear suspension on heavily traveled motorcycles. Mechanics know this. Yamaha does not impress with flashy numbers. It earns admiration. However, mechanics also recognize that older simplicity comes with limits in chassis sophistication, long-distance capability, and modern load-handling design. Riders who start pushing into global touring demands often require a platform that maintains mechanical durability while offering far greater versatility across terrain. That need pushes the conversation away from basic inline-4 simplicity and toward machines engineered specifically for mixed-condition endurance riding. And that shift points directly toward the Boxer platform from Germany. Number 6, BMW R1200 GS. Mention a used BMW in most conversations, and someone will warn you about expensive repairs. Ask a BMW mechanic what they would actually buy though, and many quietly point to the air and oil-cooled R1200 GS. The reason is surprisingly simple. These earlier models were engineered before electronics became the center of the ownership experience. Their legendary Boxer twin delivers smooth, dependable power, but the real advantage is how easy it is to maintain. With the cylinder heads exposed on each side of the engine, routine valve inspections can be completed without stripping half the motorcycle apart. That is the kind of practical engineering mechanics genuinely appreciate. The feature worth highlighting is the Boxer cylinder heads, paired with a durable shaft drive system. Together, they create a motorcycle that is built for serious mileage while keeping routine maintenance refreshingly straightforward. It is not unusual to find well-maintained examples still traveling confidently after years of long-distance touring. On the used market, expect to pay between $5,500 and $11,500. Before buying, inspect the final drive, verify drive shaft, spline maintenance, check the rear suspension, confirm recall work has been completed, and make sure the anti-lock braking system operates correctly. The BMW 1200 GS is valued in workshops for its accessible maintenance, especially the Boxer layout that allows key services without heavy disassembly. It is clearly built for long-distance endurance in varied conditions. But in practice, not every rider needs the added complexity of adventure systems like long travel suspension and off-road focused driveline components. So the focus shifts to machines that keep long-distance durability, but in a simpler, road-oriented touring package. And that naturally leads to the next high-mileage sport, touring engineering. Number 5. Yamaha FJR1300. At a certain point, experienced riders stop chasing motorcycles built for excitement and start appreciating machines designed to absorb punishment for years without complaint. That is exactly where the Yamaha FJR1300 built its reputation. This was never just another sport touring bike. Yamaha engineered the FJR for riders who think in cross-country miles, endless highway hours, and ownership, measured in decades instead of seasons. And mechanics know very few motorcycles handle that kind of abuse this effortlessly. Power comes from a massive 1,298 cubic centimeter inline-4, tuned less like a high-strung performance engine and more like a machine built to run comfortably for an absurd amount of time. Pair that with its nearly maintenance-free shaft drive system, and you get one of the most durable long-distance drivetrains ever built. Even today, clean used examples typically sell between roughly $5,500 and $12,000, making serious touring durability surprisingly attainable. Older bikes can develop stator wear, clutch cylinder leaks, or suspension fatigue, but some riders shift toward machines that feel more precise and responsive, even if they give up some touring comfort. That preference points toward Honda's V4 engineering, where durability meets a more compact and refined mechanical character. Number 4. Honda VFR800 Interceptor. Some motorcycles are built to impress you during a test ride. The Honda VFR800 Interceptor was built to impress you after years of ownership, and that is why it has earned such deep respect among experienced mechanics. Beneath the fairing sits Honda's legendary liquid-cooled dual overhead Cam V4 engine, a design that blends smooth power with remarkable durability. While the layout is more sophisticated than most middleweight motorcycles, Honda engineered it with extraordinary attention to detail. The result is an engine that feels refined from the first mile and continues delivering that same confidence long after many rivals begin showing their age. The feature worth highlighting is the V4 camshaft and valve train assembly. Later models added the variable valve timing system, giving riders stronger performance without sacrificing the reliability that made the VFR name famous. Properly maintained, this engine has become known for accumulating astonishing mileage with very few internal problems. Well-kept examples usually sell between $3,500 and $7,500. Before buying, inspect the regulator and rectifier, listen for cam chain tensioner noise, verify valve maintenance records, and remember that the variable valve timing transition can feel abrupt without indicating a fault. But some riders eventually step away from V4 complexity due to more demanding maintenance and parts access compared to simpler inline fours. So the focus shifts to machines that keep strong performance but use a more straightforward inline-4 layout built for durability at scale. And that leads to the next detuned superbike engineering. Number 3. Yamaha FZ1. Most high-performance motorcycles live hard lives. Push them long enough and eventually something expensive starts giving up. But the Yamaha FZ1 plays by an entirely different set of rules, and mechanics know exactly why. Hidden inside this machine is a massive 998 cubic centimeter inline, 4 borrowed directly from Yamaha's legendary R1 superbike platform. Now normally, engines built for that kind of performance demand constant punishment. But Yamaha made one brilliant decision here. They dramatically dialed it back. That means all the overbuilt internals designed for racing suddenly spend everyday street riding operating comfortably below their true limits. Less strain, less heat, far less long-term wear. Exactly the kind of engineering mechanics quietly admire. Its forged crankshaft and R1 derived cylinder head are the real stars here, giving this engine durability margins most later bikes never enjoy. Even today, clean used examples usually sell between roughly $4,000 and $7,500. Older bikes can develop stator wear or cam chain tensioner noise. But some riders prioritize absolute predictability and low-stress operation over performance heritage. That shift moves away from supersport-based designs toward engines built for efficiency and minimal mechanical strain. And that leads to Honda's next low-stress engineering approach. Number 2. Honda NC750X. By the time you have repaired motorcycles for years, you stop chasing horsepower and start appreciating smart engineering. That is exactly why the Honda NC750X has become one of the quiet favorites among experienced mechanics. Honda approached this motorcycle from a completely different angle. Rather than designing an engine that loves high revolutions, it created a liquid-cooled single overhead cam parallel twin that produces its power low in the rev range. Because the engine spends so much of its life operating comfortably below its limits, internal wear is dramatically reduced over time. The feature worth highlighting is the low-revving engine combined with Honda's clever integrated storage and fuel system layout. By simplifying the design and lowering the motorcycle's center of gravity, Honda created a machine that is efficient, practical, and refreshingly easy to live with. It is the kind of thoughtful engineering mechanics immediately recognize. Clean used examples generally sell between $4,500 and $8,000. Before buying, verify proper service on dual clutch transmission models. Inspect the wheel bearings, check for normal clutch wear on manual versions, and make sure the battery and electronic sensors are functioning correctly. Now we are getting into machines that mechanics do not just respect, they actively choose over newer, more complicated alternatives. And that raises a serious question. Would you still pick a modern, feature-heavy motorcycle, or go with something proven, simple, and already battle-tested? Tell us in the comments and stay with us, because even within this category, mechanics recognize that modern engineering often introduces additional systems, electronics, and design optimizations that, while efficient, still add layers of complexity compared to older mechanical platforms. So the final shift in thinking removes efficiency optimization entirely and returns to the most fundamental principle of mechanical reliability: simplicity above everything else. And that brings us to the motorcycle that defines mechanical minimalism and long-term survivability in its purest form. Number 1. Suzuki DR650SE. And here we are, the motorcycle that mechanics do not simply recommend to other riders, but quietly trust enough to spend their own hard-earned money on. Meet the Suzuki DR650SE. Now on paper, this machine looks almost too simple. No advanced electronics, no complicated rider aids, no liquid cooling system packed with extra parts waiting to fail. And strangely enough, that is exactly what makes it so respected inside repair shops. At the center sits a brutally simple 644 cubic centimeter air and oil-cooled single-cylinder engine, engineered around one philosophy: remove complexity, remove problems. Mechanics understand this better than anyone. The fewer systems a motorcycle depends on, the fewer opportunities it has to break when real mileage starts stacking up. Its overbuilt piston assembly and air-cooled engine block are the secret here, allowing this machine to absorb abuse that would destroy far more expensive motorcycles. Even today, clean used examples usually sell between roughly $3,000 and $6,500. Countershaft, seal wear, or aging suspension can appear eventually. But mechanics know one thing: when reliability matters more than everything else, this machine simply refuses to die. And that is what this list really tells you. These are not just motorcycles, they are long-term survival machines chosen by people who see failures before anyone else does. And once you understand that, you stop thinking like a casual buyer and start thinking like a mechanic. But this is only the beginning, because next, we go even deeper into the machines mechanics refuse to let go of. The hidden legends that never show up in marketing, but dominate real workshops around the world. Click the next video to continue the road trip. Join our tribe by subscribing. And do not forget to like this video.